Hey guys! So it's practically been a whole month since I've posted my last video, and I decided that it was time that I go ahead and make another video because I really need to get out of this whole posting one video a month phase. Hopefully I will move on to improving and posting a video maybe every other week, maybe even every week. It's kind of scary to think about, but anything's possible, right? So today I just want to make a quick little video talking about, caring what other people think about you, because I think that all of us really go through our lives caring way too much about what other people think about us, and I think that that can really hinder our potential. It can hinder our self-image, how we view ourselves. It can just hinder our whole life and how we view everything. Several months back, I tweeted this tweet saying, "Worrying about what everyone else thinks is exhausting and stunts growth. Focus your time and energy on more productive, wholesome things." And that's kind of what I want to base this video on. Obviously, me being born so different from everyone else around me, I was very aware of the people around me. I was very aware of how different I was. I was self-conscious, but I was also other people conscious, And now that I've grown out of that, now that I've grown out of, caring so much about what other people think about me, I can look back on my life and see where I had missed opportunities, or when I had opportunities, to shine or to thrive, and it was just all stunted because I was too worried about what other people might think. So one of my personal stories would be in 2009. It was 4 years ago. I was in high school. I was at this summer performing arts camp called Interlochen, and I love Interlochen. It'll always have a special place in my heart. It was literally the best 6 weeks of my life. I was in the vocal arts and operetta program, and at the end of the 6 weeks, we were to perform an operetta, and we performed Princess Ida. And what I didn't know, until we were rehearsing, was that it involved singing, but also acting out what we were saying with our body, doing all kind of motions and stuff. And a lot of the positions we had to stand in and move our arms in and kind of act in were kind of silly, but the operetta itself, was pretty silly. So here I was, learning all these arm signals and positioning them in all these weird ways to act like we were doing things even though we didn't even have props. And I think the day before we were going to perform, it was either I think we had a rehearsal that day, maybe? I don't know. But it was shortly before we were going to perform that night for the rest of the camp. It occurred to me, I don't know why it took so long to occur to me, but it occurred to me, I was in the dressing room where, we had all these mirrors and lights, and it occurred to me that my arm signals or positions did not quite match up or look like how they were supposed to look. I think I even stood in front of the mirror and did some of them, and I was like, wow, that's not how I imagined that it looked. I look ridiculous. And all of a sudden my self-confidence just shrunk, and I turned into a tiny little person, and I thought to myself, oh crap, tomorrow night everybody's gonna be looking at me. They're gonna be looking at me and saying, what is that girl doing, she doesn't look like all the people around her. And I just grew so self-conscious, and I was so scared, to just stick out like that and look like a fool. And I was like, oh crap, why couldn't you have realized this before, Rebecca? But then something within me changed, and I just came to a point where I'm like, you know what? I don't care. I am gonna go out there and, do what I was meant to do. No, just kidding. I was gonna go out there and, give it my all and do my best, because that's all I could do. And, it also occurred to me that how many people in the audience, are really going to be thinking bad thoughts about me? I think in reality, we are our own worst critics, and we just view our flaws, exponentially to a higher extent than anybody else does, When we go to school and maybe we have a pimple on our face, we're freaking out about it and we're just so focused on it, and then people are talking to us and they probably don't even notice it. Or maybe, when you go in front of your class to give a presentation, you're just so nervous. You're prepared, but you're just so nervous to fail and screw up and have everybody laugh at you. But what you don't realize is that people aren't sitting there sending you vibrations wishing that you will fail. Well, maybe some people are, But that's kind of the point that I want to make in this video. You should, to some extent, care what other people think about you, but you shouldn't always, you know, let that influence you. And there's just some people where their point of view does not matter at all because it sucks. So yeah, I went out there, you know, went on stage, owned it, act like I knew exactly what I was doing, that it didn't faze me at all, that I might have looked like a freak. Because to me, I didn't look like a freak. I no longer look like a freak. Although some other people in the audience might have thought that, the majority probably didn't. So the next morning, or the next day, we were in the cafeteria during lunchtime, and this guy approached me, and he recognized me, obviously, from the night before, from our performance. And he introduced himself, he asked his name, and he said, he was like, "You did a really great job. Like, you were great." And that really meant a lot to me because I'm like, I didn't have any solos or anything, you know, I was just like everyone else. But I obviously stuck out, and I think that he more admired my confidence and my perseverance rather than my actual performance. That night, had I been so self-conscious and been focused on what every single being in that room was thinking about me, I probably really would have sucked. There's another time when I was way younger in elementary school in 4th or 5th grade, and I was in the choir, and at the end of the year I think that we put on this big performance to compete in Best Foot Forward, where other school choirs, you know, compete. And in choir, you know, when we were preparing for Best Foot Forward, I realized that we also had to do, you know, hand motions and hand signals and stuff. And when I was that young and vulnerable, I was really, really self-conscious, and I was like, I could not do these motions. It does not look anything like anybody around me, and I look like a fool. So I quit, you know, I quit the choir program, and I didn't compete in Best Foot Forward. And that's kind of a small example on how my growth was stunted. Not just that, but singing, you know, was one of my passions, so I was letting what other people may think about me, not even what they think about me, but what they might think about me. I was letting that keep me from doing what I love. And that is when caring what other people think about you becomes unhealthy. Ultimately, what you think about you should override what other people think about you. And I think that this can also be applied to those of you who have been bullied or called names, which is bullying. You know, when someone goes up to you and they're like, "Oh, you're looking pretty chubby today," or "You do not pull those skinny jeans off," or "You're stupid," you know, you can say, "Okay, that may be true for you. You're right, you know, I am a loser in your eyes, but you know, to me, I'm not. I'm pretty awesome by my definition, so you can go ahead in your little bubble believe that I'm a loser, and I'm gonna stay in my little bubble and know the truth that I'm pretty awesome." So yeah, I really hope that this video and my personal stories were able to help you in some way. I really want you guys to thrive, you know, and realize your potential and realize your worth, and I really think that it is such a shame that there are so many wonderful people out there who are hiding, you know, within their potential and within their worth, and they don't realize it because some jerk, you know, called them a name, and because they care so much about what other people think about them. Okay guys, until next time, I will see you in my next video. Bye! We feel sad and hopeless and undesirable and just plain bad, all in the name of beauty and this belief, this delusion, that beauty equals good.